Oh man, what is good? Well, we are back here with you again, another rollicking episode. And we're just kind of like manifesting that ahead of time, Joyce, of What's Good with John and Joyce. What's Good with John and Joyce is sponsored by Woodwinds Wedding and Special Events venue in Brantford, Connecticut, and Silvio's award-winning Italian sauces, which you can buy anytime online at silviosauces.com. That's silviosauces.com. Losing weight and getting healthy can feel so overwhelming. Not sure where to start? Changing habits is tough, and staying motivated isn't always easy. And that's where To Your Health comes in. They'll guide you step by step with individualized assessments, coaching, and support designed around you. It's all about helping you create your personalized plan to obtain that healthy, vibrant life you deserve. Check out their website to see all that they offer. ToYourHealth360.com. That's ToYourHealth360.com. Tech Fix provides expert repair services for laptops, desktops, home networks, and smart devices. Matthew Rader and his certified technicians are equipped to handle both hardware issues and software glitches, ensuring your devices are back in working order quickly and affordably. For more information, go to techfixct.com. That's techfixct.com, TECHFIXCT.com. We have a gentleman in the studio with us now. He's also a brand new sponsor we're lucky to have, too, from Tech Fix, right here in the Shoreline area. But he's going to be sharing a whole bunch of wisdom today with us that goes way beyond this area, but that hopefully is going to help you as well. And he's a guy that works with computers, Joyce, but he has a personality.
He does.
With all due respect.
Yes, he
I mean, you think about, you have a certain stereotype. Right. But this guy is amazing. We had a chance to meet him recently, and we're welcoming him to our studio right now to What's Good with John and Joyce, available on all streaming platforms. But please, subscribe on YouTube. It's free, and share it with everybody you know. But with us right now, what's his name, Joyce?
What is his name?
What is his name?
I
think it starts with an M.
I think it's Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah. Is it Radar?
Like with MASH, remember Radar?
Yes.
Or Raider, like the Oakland Raiders, or Las Vegas Raiders. I'm dating myself. No, it's Matt Raider. Hey, Matt, welcome to What's Good with John and Joyce.
Welcome.
Hi, John and Joyce.
We love you.
We do.
We do. You on here. There's so many things we want to talk about, but tell us a little bit, because when I first met you, I was so impressed that we were just sitting there talking, and I know that you were the manager of Nerds to Go.
Nerds
to Go.
It was
and then this woman came up to our table, and she was like, she found God. She's like, "You're here. Yeah. You're still here. I found you. I need you." So you were with Nerds to Go for a long time, and then you branched out on your own.
Yeah, I started with them in 2010 and worked for 15 years. Helping small businesses and residential customers with their technology needs, everything from websites to computers to email. And then very suddenly last summer, they closed with no notice at all.
Really?
It was horrible and left many local businesses completely on the verge of being eliminated from the internet. And this was down to about 2 weeks. And so I took it upon myself to jumpstart a business, get insured and licensed, and deal with Microsoft and put myself personally liable, but decided to invest in the shoreline of Connecticut and started my business, saved all these local businesses, and decided to get very involved in the community, which is something I always really wanted to do.
You were like the cavalry. You came in when people really needed them at that point, but that's got to be so freaky because these people depend on that. Most of us have no clue what to do with our computers or our, technical devices, and we're left out in the cold, so to speak. But you come marching in, thank goodness. And what I like a lot about you, just based on our conversations, there's a lot to like about you, Matt, but also you're an advocate for people. You're not just a computer guy, you're an advocate to help them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm glad you brought that up. One thing that I specialize in is what I refer to as cutting the cord. So what it means is the typical resident pays upwards of $200 to $300 and up for their internet, TV, and phone per month, which is a huge amount. And it's because they're on the same platform, with a remote and coaxial cable that they've had their whole lives. But there's a lot more affordable, faster cheaper ways of getting the same content. So what I help do is I help coach people to not only, switch and get everything under manageable, but also to understand how to use it, because that's the biggest value. A lot of times their friends or family will just say, "Oh, just do it." But it's not always that easy.
Yeah.
Well, and all of us don't have like a son or a grandson around to help us, right? We're there trying to figure out. We have 10 little remote things to try to work out, and that's where you come in.
Yes.
Yes.
I've had people tell me just, get a Fire Stick and do it. It's like, what? Yeah. So you would be very helpful in that area. But what happens if someone wants specific channels, and does it come with everything?
It pretty much does. I mean, it generally comes in most cases with like 100 to 200 channels, and you can a la carte add anything the same way you would with your current platform. A lot of my clients like the tennis network, and that is a specialty channel that you do have to pay more per month. But fans love that, or, whether it's an NFL Sunday ticket or something like that, you can supplement it. But what a lot of people get confused and get scared about is they think that switching means getting rid of all those channels, like what you were saying. And it doesn't mean that. Netflix and Hulu and all these things are great, and those are supplements, but that's not the real way of doing it. It's better to have everything that you already had that you're comfortable with, same phone, same internet kind of connection, same computer. You don't have to change a lot. You're just changing kind of the companies and the way that it's getting delivered.
That's why it's so great to have somebody like you navigate that, because that's what I think separates you from so many people in your vocation. Because ever since COVID, we're nesting. We don't want to go out as much anymore. We don't even want people to come into our homes unannounced, like they used to before.
In my house.
Yeah, exactly. We protect that, and a lot of our entertainment comes from TV or reading or listening and watching podcasts like this one, whatever it may be. Self-serving, I know, right there. But seriously, and you're able to help them get what they want more for less.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned that. I think most of our climate here now has been very introverted. People that were more outgoing after COVID, after being home so much, have gotten introverted. Your typical computer person, let's face it, is a nerd. They're that introverted person. But
there are exceptions to the rule.
There are, and I really enjoy. My favorite part of the service call and the most rewarding part is talking with the customer and seeing the value, and not just fixing something and trying to hide in the corner, but really embracing it and seeing what other issues they have that they might think is a small issue or is an unimportant issue, but it's something, people know they can rely on me. And I've really enjoyed getting involved in the community through different organizations. I saw that, getting involved on a board and getting involved in your local community has so much value, not only for your business, but also personally, to really kind of feel like more at home. And it took me 15 years living in Guilford before I really have now consider it my home. I really, consider myself a part of Guilford now, where I always just felt like before I worked there, but I didn't contribute anything to the town.
The great thing is you live in Guilford, but what you're sharing with us is on a national and global, basis. You can help so many people outside of our area with this. And I like that. And I get the feeling, Joyce and I have been talking to you, you know a little bit about everything. So when you come into people's homes, you're easily likable. And we were talking about some banking stuff. You gave us some, recommendations about that. I think people are going to get so much value from you outside of what you do at Tech Fix.
It's very true. And it's funny you mentioned that. I had a manager at my previous job where he brought me aside one day and he said, Matthew, I saw you interact with a customer and you were talking about like a restaurant or something. What does that have to do with computers? And once I explained about like building rapport, he understood. He said, "Oh, that's why that woman called to say, what was the name of that restaurant?" But I understand it was because you talked to their level. Not everyone likes technology, and they're there. It's like going to the dentist for some folks. So I like that. I like to leave them with some value of things that I have learned and what I appreciate doing.
Go ahead, Joyce.
I was just going to say, you brought up a really good point about it's not just living like where we are right now, but globally, people, wherever you're living, join their local chamber, join their local whatever, to get to feel part of the community. And
I'm glad you brought that up. The Rotary Club is an amazing organization that before joining a year ago, I didn't know anything about. And once I learned how much great fundraising and the whole service above self, it's amazing. Just here locally, someone started a fund called A Care for Uganda that's now an international Rotary fund that builds wells in Uganda. And they're up to, I think, about 60 or 70 wells.
That's fabulous.
And you get
I'd love to hear that.
being involved in that, you get to actually meet the people from Uganda and hear the story of how before this well was built, they were traveling 15 miles a day by foot to get dirty water that we wouldn't even put our feet in.
Oh my God.
And it's just amazing. There's also a national campaign right now called Warm Our Children. And the idea there is we get donations and then we take families shopping for warm clothing at a local department store, and then they sometimes contribute back to us as well, so we can get more gifts as well.
Being a member of Rotary myself for many, many years, I know that Rotary International really helped wipe out polio.
Right.
They contributed a lot to that, and also trips down to Haiti to help them with their wells and among other things too. So it's a great organization. And I just love the fact that you're so well-rounded, not just in a limited space, but you're out there networking, you're involved in the community, and that speaks volumes. But it's also great for business.
It is, yeah. And, I really like the idea of networking as a business. The chamber is a great source of that. Learning how to be part of a chamber and how to interact with other businesses is really important. But also networking with fellow business owners. That's a great way to kind of be able to comfortably, pass leads between you when you know the person. So it's sometimes people just email and stuff, but I like to, if there's some interest, let's go sit down and have some coffee. Let's do something where we're really interacting and learning about each other's businesses so we can then refer. And it helps establish you in the community when you can say, someone's talking about banking, talk to my banker or my attorney as well as an alternative. So you're not just dealing with one person. You can get some, different options and see what fits you the best.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you that Christmas is around the corner and computers. People are buying computers. So I happen to know someone, even a lot younger than me, who I realized that he's always buying a computer from Walmart, a couple $100 laptop, and then throws it out like a year and a half later, buys another buy. And I said, what's going on? Why are you doing that? He said, I don't know. I can't maneuver on it. It gets all these viruses. I said, well, do you have virus protection on it? He says, no, I don't trust that. I keep getting these ads, and I just never click on them. I said, I think you've been needing virus protection. So my question to you is, when people are shopping this year, whether it's for a child or a parent, what would you recommend that they start with?
It's a great question. It depends on what they're looking to do. A lot of people can do everything in their lives with a tablet instead of a full computer.
Okay.
There's more controls there. They have tablets geared towards children or elderly folks as well. There's even desktops. There's one called a WOW computer that's very easy to use. Yeah, it's just basically like weather, stocks. It's very controlled experience because unfortunately the internet, fortunately and unfortunately, the internet is worldwide, and a lot of these bad actors will, call people, assisted living facilities or things like that, and try to scam people with computer viruses, Medicare scams, all these things.
Yes.
And so when it can be more controlled, that's great. There's also, if they have a son or daughter that can help out, you can even be part of someone's TV or cell phone or computer and be there. And that is something I set up for people where typically it was for like working at home or schooling at home, but it can also be to help your friend or family member, control the experience, make sure they're safe online.
Right.
There's a lot of scams where they can even like spoof your voice now, and all these things. So you have to be, it's important to make sure you have help when you need it.
Yeah.
And about like 60 to 90 seconds, describe a little bit about what you do. Maybe somebody's just tuning in to What's Good with John and Joyce right now. What makes you different from everybody else? You're doing your little pitch here. You're in a networking group right now. Again, somebody's tuning in right now. I like this guy, but what makes him really different outside of the wonderful personality he has right now?
So what makes me different is I'm a solo entrepreneur, and I have access to the same cybersecurity platforms and knowledge after doing this for 25 years that a larger company would have. So, in the industry, whether you're a sole entrepreneur or you have 25 or 50 employees, the computer companies are going to sell you the same thing at the same pricing, and it could be very prohibitive. So a lot of your 5 and under employee count companies just avoid cybersecurity because they're scared and it's too expensive. So I price mine the same, and I really gear it towards the small business. I want to know everyone by name. I want to come out. Most companies do everything they can to not come out, or they'll come pick it up and they don't want to deal with anyone.
That was like at a previous company you were at before. I remember you said that nobody wanted to go out, so you said, I'll go out.
Right.
Yeah, but you can get a commission. I don't care. You go out anyway, Matt.
That's the whole thing.
Wow.
And that's what I love. I love helping because it's, you feel so good about each call when you help people. It might sound or seem simple at first, but now you're connecting them to the whole world of the internet, or to their son or daughter is in a different state. Or fixing an issue that has bothered them for so long, and you can go in and fix it for them, which is amazing.
Because I know, Joyce, when we talk about it, I freak out when something happens to my computer. It's like, and you think right away dollars and cents.
Right.
It's like when something happens to your car, or the furnace is gone, or the plumbing, you think right away worst possible scenario, human nature. But I get the feeling that you're one of the people that can kind of like dissuade that feeling.
The typical stereotype of a computer person goes back to Saturday Night Live, right? Where you're condescending, and rude, and everything. Yep. And I'm very cognizant of that's what people expect, and so I try, and I'm just naturally, I'm not like that, but try to just explain and make them comfortable. And that's why I talk about whether it be sports or, a common thing like food that kind of creates a glue, and make them comfortable and help them and not, bash them. A lot of people will say, oh, this was such a stupid thing, or I'm so this or that. And I'm like, no, you're really not. I mean, you're doing more. A lot of people don't realize how much they're doing. They're running a local church organization or something, and they're doing it all from their computer and doing newsletters and fund drives. And they just kind of assume, oh, that's just natural, where a lot of their neighbors wouldn't even know how to do that. Right. So it's an amazing thing.
Yeah. So do people bring their computers to you, or do you mostly go to them?
I mostly go to them. I find it's better in the space that they're using it. I can talk about everything at the house, and a lot of times help them with the utilities, as we were talking about. And but I also have an office that sometimes folks like to visit me at. With my small businesses, it's almost always at their location. Residential, it's kind of a mix. And I also do remote. So I've even helped.
Yes, you just get into their computer and take a look.
Exactly. I've helped all around the world. A few months back, helped my in-laws in Thailand, of all places. And they were like, this computer must be possessed. The mouse is moving around. They were doing the prayer and everything to it. But it was great. And it was so great that I could help them just from sitting at my computer, and I can help, fix their issue remotely.
That's amazing.
Is there any kind of a situation that you've come upon where it's been like, ooh, this is unique. I haven't seen this before?
Happens quite a lot.
Really?
It happens a lot with a lot of this, like this hacking, the hacking.
These people are so brilliant, but they use it for the wrong purposes, the wrong intent. If only they use
for good.
their ingenuity for good, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And, there's all different variants of the scams. There's different computers. A lot of times it comes down to what's important very much to me is it cost effective or not? I always analyze that. Even on the phone call, when they call, I'm going to ask questions like how old is the computer and things like that, because I don't want them to go to the typical thing where they go to a retail store, they drop off their computer, a few days later they call them and say this price, and they go back and forth. Yeah. They don't understand it. They pick it up, nothing's done. I want to, analyze and let them know, is it worth it? Or maybe this is a better option, and really explain like how much time they're going to get with it, and give them a full synopsis of it instead of just charging them a fee just for nothing.
I get the sense you look at people as people, not dollar signs. And if you can help them, you let them know. And if you can't, you let them know, I'm sure, too.
Yeah, I qualify every purchase that they make, to make sure it's the right thing. I'm not just going to sell a computer to someone if the computer they have makes more sense. Sometimes they'll want to replace it.
You do sell computers?
I do. I sell computers, pretty much all technology, from smartphones to computers, also upgrades to the existing computers that people have. I also build websites for people. As well as I work on all mobile devices, screen repairs, and battery replacements and things like that.
Right.
My phone, I'm dropping my phone all the time. It's got so many cracks in it, crazy. But you have MacBooks too, right?
Yeah, that's actually my preference is Apple.
Yeah, me too.
I'm brand agnostic, as I like to refer to it,
Yes.
but I would prefer an Apple. I think that it's more of a finished product.
Yeah, with my DJ business, I love the Macs.
Yeah, it's all about creativity. Yeah.
I never made friends with Apple.
No?
No, I got an Apple phone, and no, give me back my Droid.
Really?
I think because I'm so used to it.
Yeah. It depends on, your personality, what works best for you.
Yeah.
If that's working well for you, right? Why not?
Yeah, it's all about the ecosystem. An Android is based on Google, and so like a Google tablet would be a great addition to that, versus an iPad.
I am thinking of getting a tablet, so
Yeah.
it'll be a Google tablet.
Yeah, the way that Google syncs between the tablet and the phone is incredible. I mean, you can make phone calls from either one. Everything carries over, so you're not having to like redo work. They have a really good program, the way that they sync it.
Are they lighter now? Because I had one a while ago, and it was heavy.
They're lighter. A lot of times it comes down to the case also. A lot of these cases, the more substantial ones add a lot of weight to it, but it also protects it from breaking too. So
I think back to the old technology. Remember the bag phones? The bag phone, the cell phones.
car phone, yeah.
They had like the car phones. It was like carrying a suitcase around, and it cost you like $150 per minute.
Yes, my mother had one. It was a big one.
We've come a long way since, haven't we? A long way, baby.
It's interesting you brought that up. I was thinking back actually earlier today at my first service call. We were talking payphones. The guy had a vintage rotary dial payphone.
Nice.
I was stunned. I said to him, I got to tell you a little story. Back in the payphone days, there was a way to cheat the payphone. And this is something that Bill Gates, Steve Jobs have been known to do. It was called a red box. So someone discovered through a whistle they used to give in the kids' toys or cereal that this higher pitch of the star key 5 times made the sound that the quarter makes dropping into the phone.
What a piece of trivia.
So if you knew how to make one of these things, you could
Wow.
make free phone calls across the country.
Can we do this at ATMs? But it just keeps coming out from
right,
somewhere.
yeah.
Not anyone else's bank account. But
Whenever you talk about the red phone, I think about the bat phone on Batman. Wasn't that a red phone? Right?
Yeah, or
Gordon here.
my favorite original show, Get Smart.
Get Smart.
The shoe phone.
About
The shoe phone.
Don Adams. It's classic.
I mean, think about the technology. They were so far ahead of their time. Or you think about Star Trek.
Yeah.
Look at the original cell phone. That they were talking about.
I think it's Gene Roddenberry, wasn't he?
Gene Roddenberry
He was a visionary.
Brilliant.
So
Absolutely brilliant.
he really saw the future. Well, you're like a doctor. Computers are always going to be, people in need of your help. That's for sure. And you remind me of an old-fashioned doctor that makes house calls.
Yeah.
Right.
That is
So
true.
that's what you do. Or if they can come in, they come in. If not, you'll talk to them on the phone. You'll Zoom.
A lot of technicians also are either like software or hardware. I've always been both. And hardware especially, people are very interested in when you like open up a laptop in front of them. They've never seen the inside of it. It's really interesting to see. Like to me, it's like, not I just pop it open, whatever. But in my not being a like architect, when I had my driveway done and they came in, it was the same thing. It's like a doctor. They were like a surgeon. They came in with this big excavator to my little driveway.
Yeah.
And that was like my, how people think they're like, how is all this thing in this little laptop? And I take out the hard drive. It's the size of a quarter. And they're like, that stores all my whole life is on this thing. Like, how is it possible?
Because back in the day, like with NASA, you think about the computers, they took up like 3 of these spaces. 3 of the rooms we're in right now. The computers were that large at the time. Let me ask you about AI.
Sure.
Everybody's talking about AI. What are your thoughts about that? How's that going to affect what you're doing or what we're doing with computers or anything else?
So I'm a very optimistic person by nature, and that's why part of why I love the show. But
thank you.
Yeah, and so my view is that it's going to help us. It helps the sole entrepreneur like myself have access to this big data tools that previously you had to have a marketing department, advertising department. But at my disposal, I use it. I use it in a lot of my community organizations. It's like my personal assistant. So you've had a transcriber, things that could take audio to text. That's nothing new. Mm-hmm. But the technology with AI now can take that and then actually make action plans and make next steps. I asked a customer recently on a phone call, could I try it? And we did it, and it even gave me a guidebook to then email to them on the problem and the resolution, so that if it happened again, and that would save me an hour of compiling that. I mean,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
just incredible. And so I like to look at all the good parts. I mean, I think it does kind of change jobs. But as the technology gets better, I love how they're using it with health.
Yes.
There's a new band, it's more than a pedometer. It actually measures all your levels so that if something changes, it can alert you before a tragic event like a heart attack. Or
Yeah, there's a lot of good that AI can do. I just wish, and I think this is going to come about where if someone's doing that deep fake on you or something like that, that it has to say it on it, that this is AI generated.
It's true. I think they're starting to. It's hard. Another part that isn't as good also is on social media. In my view, probably 50% of now what I see is what's called AI slop. So it's clearly AI generated, not true at all, but it's in the way, and you have to kind of scroll through it. Used to be just ads, which don't bother me, but this is like, it's annoying, So, and that there's a huge uptick in that, which hopefully they can kind of weed out. I think using it for creative things like art or music isn't appropriate, but using it to help level you up is great.
Yes.
Great things.
Yeah. I think about being in the music business right now. There's an artist that has the #1 country song in the nation on iTunes, and it's an AI.
Really?
It's not a real person.
I think
like in the top 5. I think he's got 2 songs in the top 5 right now. The name escapes me at the moment. Brendan Rust or something of that nature.
So you see him.
It's really good. I was listening to it. I wasn't watching, and I was listening to it. And I downloaded it because I really liked the song. And then I heard something else, and I liked that, Breaking Rust or something like that. And I think, wow, this country band sounds great.
Wow.
So the #1 country song in the USA at the time of this recording was an AI song.
I want to see them win a Grammy.
Kind of scary.
I want to see them walk up.
Well, you had Milli Vanilli back in the day, right?
There's also recently we had for the Rotary a membership drive. It's a 100-page document that had been added to over the years. We were trying to get it more interesting. So there was an AI that we put it through that actually made it into a podcast.
Wow.
So it was a typical radio show, people calling in.
Trying to put me out of business.
I know. But
we could be AI.
That's right, we are. That's right, yeah.
The one zinger that I'll always remember from it, and it's how does it find this? How did it create this? But it said, because the Rotary has changed quite a bit. It's all service now. It used to be a little different. This isn't your grandfather's Rotary Club.
Right.
Like it would say stuff like that. And you're like, how did it get? That wasn't in our paperwork,
Wow.
So it is. It's very. I think a lot of people learn differently. Some people learn visually, by audio, by paper. So I think it can help with education also, which it's starting to. But I think that's something that I think should be done more.
Yeah, I like to embrace to take a positive look at it too. There's always going to be some little bugs to work out. But you think about, video killed the radio star, that song, back in 1980. Many people thought video was going to kill those of us in the radio business, 45 years ago. But it only helped us prosper even more, just the opposite. Yeah. So I think rather than fear it, I like to take the kind of tack you do, being an optimist. I want to embrace it.
Yeah.
So Matt, how will people reach you? We do have it on the on the podcast.
Thank you for being a sponsor.
Yeah,
Tech Fix.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, Matthew Rader, Tech Fix LLC. The phone number, you can reach me directly, 203, and as well as the website, techfixct.com.
Yeah, we'll find you. Yeah, it is written on there. So, and you're available. Like they can leave you a message 7 days a week, I would imagine.
Yeah, and that's at 203-343-2299.
Perfect.
Text, phone call. I am someone that still loves talking on the phone. That's a new illness that people actually have that seek help because they're afraid to talk on the phone.
I know.
I feel that sometimes.
For that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to get over that. We need to connect.
And I think people do want that because even in my commercials for my business on radio, I put my cell phone number there. So you can contact me at the website. But if you prefer to talk to me directly, I'd love to chat with you. 203, blah, blah, blah. People love it. Because we're missing that. We've become kind of an impersonal world. And I think even the younger generation, a lot of them seem to be a little bit more old school, and they like that way of communicating.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, when I get a letter in the mail, like a thank you letter, it goes so far. I mean, I put it on my wall. I want to frame it. It just, you don't see that much anymore.
Yeah, my wife and I said the same thing. The first thing I go to when I go to the mailbox is a handwritten letter. I know it's not a bill.
Right.
And if it's a nice thank you note, I save it forever.
Yeah. Yeah, me
Well,
too.
thank you so much there,
Yes,
Matt, for
thank
being
you.
a sponsor, being a guest. I think there was I know there was a lot of wisdom there. And thank you for tuning in to What's Good with John and Joyce. We're very grateful for you tuning in. Please tell a friend about us. We are a soft place to land. No negativity, no politics. 30 minutes each week. Hopefully it's going to leave you with a smile, some inspiration. Warts and all, we're here.
And some knowledge, too. Yes, we are.
And some knowledge.
Yes.
What's Good with John and Joyce? You can see us on all the streaming platforms to listen to us. But if you can subscribe for free on YouTube, we'd really appreciate that, and share it with somebody you know and love.
We love you so much. Thank you.
Lots of love.
Bye for now.
Hey, I heard you got engaged. Congratulations. Now it's time to book the DJ. And that's where we come in. I'm John Cadillac Seville with John Seville Entertainment, Wedding Wire, and the Knot 2026 Couples Choice Awards winner. You can call me directly if you'd like at 203-988-0658. We'll set up your free consultation. Or go to johncaddyman.com. That's 203-988-0658 or johncaddyman.com. We offer excellence, peace of mind, and a great time for all. John Seville Entertainment, a name you know and can trust.